In the headlines, Central Bank orders banks to open for business on Saturday and Sunday as part of moves to make Naira available. Court of Appeal sets aside tribunal judgment, upholds election of Osun State Governor Adeleke. Police in Zamfara State arrest suspected looters of public property after election results were announced. And on the foreign scene, DRC's President Tshisekedi reshuffles cabinet ahead of elections. Hello and welcome to Trans TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The Central Bank of Nigeria has ordered all commercial banks to open for operations on Saturdays and Sundays. This, according to the Apex Bank, was part of efforts to ease circulation of banknotes of various denominations. A statement signed by CBN Acting Director, Corporate Communications Department, Isa Abdulmumin, on Friday, said that evacuation of banknotes from its vault to commercial banks across the country had begun. The statement noted that a substantial amount of money in various denominations had been received by commercial banks for onward circulation to their respective customers, even as it prevailed on banks to conduct physical operations in banking halls throughout the weekend. Meanwhile, Naira's scarcity is still taking a toll on residents of the Federal Capital Territory, 2 days after the Central Bank of Nigeria directed banks to collect old Naira notes deposited at the Apex Bank's branches nationwide. Point-of-sale operators are still charging, contrary to expectations that the directive and resultant availability will change the situation. Zainab Arai speaks to POS operators and residents to find out why the situation remains the same. The report.
Federal Capital Territory expressed dismay on high charges by POS operators, which has made a difficult situation even worse. Even with the directives of the CBN to banks to collect the old Naira notes, people are still cash-strapped and calling on the government to do the needful.
Even to see the money saved. Even to see 1,000 Naira, you then charge you 400 Naira, so you will not mind. Like me now, presently, 6 months I've been turning around to see what I can even withdraw even a 500 Naira account. I believe government know what to do, especially the CBN. Everything is under their custody. It's just for them to do the right thing.
Some said the situation has forced many to trek from their various destinations to their places of work, a situation they described as unbearable.
If you want to withdraw 1,000, I have to pay 200. You transfer for person you buy something for. Withdraw and transfer, that is 200 per charge. For me to transport come here now, it's not easy. I have to trek like some minutes before I will get to where I can manage the one I have in my pocket.
Point-of-sale operators also said they buy money to get money, adding that they spend days before getting the little cash they give.
Sometimes we do 1,000 for like 200, depending on how you are able to get the cash. Sometimes we buy the cash. If we buy for 100 Naira, we do for them 200 Naira. And if we get for like 50 Naira, we do for them. Just depend how we get the cash, that's how we do for our customers, but it's not regular.
The cashless policy is too much. Even to transact money itself, the charges is too much. We suffer too much. The thing they hook us, like even us to come out, transport, even us to enter anywhere, we cannot do transaction because some they refuse.
They called on the Central Bank of Nigeria to go beyond giving directives to make the Naira notes available to make lives more easier for the people. Zainab Arai, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has upheld the election of Governor Ademola Adeleke as Governor of Osun State. A 3-member panel of justices presided over by Justice Muhammad Lawal Shuaibu on Friday held that the All Progressives Congress candidate and former Governor Gboyega Oyetola failed to prove allegations of overvoting against the People's Democratic Party. And the People's Democratic Party and some civil society organizations have called for the immediate removal of the Resident Electoral Commissioner of Adamawa State. They said the call became necessary to avert the alleged plans to manipulate the state governorship rerun election. Salis Lawan reports that INEC fixed Wednesday, the 29th of March, for the rerun of the governorship election.
Last week Saturday's Adamawa governorship election, which was declared inconclusive by the INEC, has generated a lot of controversy. Capitalizing their fact from the outcome of the presidential and the National Assembly, the governorship and State House of Assembly elections were said to be allegedly marred by irregularities such as vote buying and voter endorsement.
My reaction was we are highly disappointed with INEC because we expected the beavers to work or function very well. I was among the few people that believe in beavers, and I thought beavers were going to bring out the best of the candidates, because that is my thinking. But I was so embarrassed from the elections I had. This is the worst election I've ever seen in my life.
Issues with the INEC, that is the electoral body itself, breaking its own rule of not, or rather inability to transmit some of the results of the presidential elections to its server or the IREF, as the case may be, where that has led to a lot of voter apathy, which actually bounced back on the gubernatorial and the House of Assemblies elections, where you see low turnout of voters to come and cast their votes on that day as a result of the outcome of the presidential elections. So if we continue to have these issues that are surrounding and marring our electoral processes, in time to come, people will have no reason to go out to cast their votes.
Adamawa State Coalition of Civil Society Organization for Peace, Transparency, Accountability and Human Rights strongly condemn attempt by some senior INEC officials to compromise the integrity of the electoral empire. They also observed with sadness various infractions, which include the alleged use of force by the military on civilians who were peacefully gathered to exercise their civic duty.
Before early, we saw a copy of a circular they sent to other political parties and stakeholders in these ongoing elections that is 69 areas. But this afternoon, we are hearing that they have sent 77 areas to their headquarters. We want to again call on the attention of the National Chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud, to please look into this matter. And in fact, we don't have confidence in the Resident Electoral Commissioner of Adamawa State, Hudu. We don't have confidence in him.
The results we had from our agents, we collected them all, and we are optimistic that we are the one that are winning the vote. But to our greatest surprise, the results that were being collecting the collection in the collection center were different from the results we are having from our agents. And we found out that there are malfunctioned beavers. About 15 of the beavers are empty. And we complained about it. And they did not say anything about it, that we should go to the court of law.
We experienced massive vote buying. People were bought over with a token of 2,000, 1,500 and as low as 200 naira, so that they can go and cast their votes to a particular political party, be it the APC, be it the PDP, be it even the Labour Party. Perhaps there may be people who gave out money on my behalf to vote for us.
Observers said voters displayed extraordinary resilience and resolved to have their voices heard through the ballot, and INEC must do its part. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
And former Katsina State Governor Ibrahim Shehu Shema has given the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party 48 hours to rescind its suspension or consider him out of the party. Shema also asked the National Working Committee to disband what he called illegal caretaker committee of the PDP in Katsina State and recognize the duly elected executive committee in the state. In a letter dated 24th March 2023 and addressed to the national chairman of the party, Yochia Ayu, Shema said failure to rescind the decision on the two issues he raised. The letter would serve as his formal and official withdrawal of membership from the PDP, effective from Saturday, 25th March 2023. And still talking politics, mixed reactions have continued to trail the conduct of the just concluded 2023 general elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission. While some allege that the electoral process was flawed with irregularities, rigging and manipulations of the results, others commended the process. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Nigeria's 2023 presidential election could be boldly written in the nation's history because of the tough contest between three major candidates: Bola Tinubu of the APC, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, and Peter Obi of LP. However, the conduct of the elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has been widely criticized for failure to upload results electronically as stipulated in the Electoral Act. Speaking to Trust TV on the performance of the electoral umpire in the elections, Dr. Babayo Sule, Federal University of Kashere, said although there were some flaws in the process, the electoral body has performed well.
I can assess the 2023 general elections right from the presidential, National Assembly, gubernatorial to State House of Assembly as fair and to a certain level credible, because of course it is a consolidation upon the already integrity that is built upon in the 2015 general election, although the 2019 election saw some setback in comparison with that of 2015. The same also with 2023, but notwithstanding the incessant lamentations, notwithstanding the over complaints, notwithstanding the rejections of the result and other things by the opposition, it is anticipated. Still, the process is fair.
Dr. Babayo said despite the shortcomings of INEC, the previous elections, the flaws recorded were exaggerated by those who lost, adding that the Commission's performance was commendable.
The balance that characterized some elections, particularly gubernatorial election in places like Kano, in fact, in many states, is uncalled for, and is still showing that we are yet to institutionalize our democracy to a level of a peaceful conduct of election. So it is really disheartening. We give them at least 60 to 65, making B. And the reason why they will not even get A is because one thing that baffles me with the process is the way the presidential election results were not uploaded 2 weeks after the election, which is questionable.
The political analyst urged INEC to learn from its mistakes in 2023 and come up with something better in the next 4 years. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Still talking about the fallout of the elections, a 32-year-old Musa Lawan Majakura caused a political stir in Yobe State when he defeated the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Ahmad Lawan Mirwa, during the Saturday, March 18th State Assembly elections. The young politician hails from Guru local government area of the state. The report.
Musa Lawan Majakura was born in Majakura village of Unguru local government area of Yobe State on 1st January 1990. Before venturing into politics, Lawan Majakura obtained a diploma in public administration and management from Atiku Abubakar College of Legal and Islamic Studies, Unguru, in year 2013. Majakura also attended Federal Polytechnic Damaturu, where he obtained National Diploma and Higher National Diploma in Business Administration and Management in 2016 and 2020. He first tasted political defeat in year 2021 when he contested councillorship seat but could not secure his party's ticket. He was however lucky in year 2023, polling 6,648 votes to defeat incumbent Ahmed Lawan Mirwa of All Progressive Congress APC and the current Speaker, Yobe State House of Assembly, who got 6,466 votes.
I want to assure that my constituency, I shall give them good representation.
Majakura, a member of the People's Democratic Party, said his vision is to empower his fishing community back home and give his constituents good representation in Yobe State House of Assembly.
Meanwhile, history was made in Kwara State during the last governorship and State House of Assembly election when a 26-year-old female journalist, Rukayat Shitu, emerged as a member of the State House of Assembly representing Owode Onire constituency in Asha local government area. Rukayat Shitu is a graduate of mass communication and worked for an online medium before venturing into politics. Let's take a look.
Rukayat is one of the youngest politicians in the country whose election to the Kwara State House of Assembly attracted a lot of interest from within and outside the state. Asked how she managed to emerge victorious in political contests considered a dirty game and a no-go area for sincere and trustworthy people, she had this to say.
I did not believe in that misconception. Let me put it that way, that politics is a dirty game. We make it dirty. Politics is different. We as a human being, we are different. So politics is on its own, while human being, we are on its own. We can tell human being, we can quote human being as them, but don't quote politics on its own. We are the one influencing politics, not politics influencing us. So at this point, I did not believe politics is dirty. It is you. We are all here to correct maybe the misconception we believe. So we are here to change.
Rukayat speaks on the perception that going into electoral contest in Nigeria requires a lot of money.
When you are out, you are just somewhere doing so well, you have your money, people will come to you for help. So attaching that politics this, politics that, I think that's sentiment. We are putting so much sentiment in politics, while there are other phases of life that has its own ups and downs. So with all of these, I will do the best I can do.
She further unveils her legislative agenda for girl-child education.
Before, I think one of the factors that is affecting girl child is the ability to bring out the courage in them. Is the ability to see the essence of them in the society. It is not only about maybe in the house. We all have our reason, like we all have our part to do in community engagement.
The Assembly member-elect urged women to participate in politics as a way of giving their contribution to societal progress.
Still with us on Trans TV News Update. Still ahead. We take a stab at assessing media coverage of the 2023 election. Details of this and more after the break. You stay with us.
Are you a creative, a videographer, producer, or content creator? Trust TV is calling for entries for a short documentary and skit competition. To qualify for this entry, send your short documentary or skit of not more than 5 minutes on health or any social-related issues to creatives@trusttv.com. Using this format, title, duration, first name, phone number, and a summary of the production of not more than 1 paragraph. Winners will be engaged for production for Trust TV, and prizes will be won by the overall winner and the first and second runner-up. Opens from 19th March 2023 to 31st March 2023.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trans TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. Central Bank orders banks to open for business on Saturday and Sunday as part of moves to make Naira available. And Court of Appeal sets aside tribunal judgment to uphold election of Osun State Governor Adeleke. And in other news, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has commended members and leaders of the House of Representatives for rejecting what it called another attempt to push through a bill to decriminalize cannabis cultivation, sale and use in Nigeria on the floor of the Green Chamber of the National Assembly on Thursday. NDLEA National Chairman Buba Marwa, in a statement, said the decision by most of the lawmakers to reject the bill will further strengthen the gains so far made in the renewed war against drug abuse and trafficking in the country. So the 2018 drug survey figure of 10.6 million Nigerians abusing cannabis alone is enough to sound the alarm bell, adding that the strong nexus between drug abuse and the security challenges across the country is incontrovertible. NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi quotes Marwa as saying history will never forget those who stand with parents to protect them and their children from any legislation which will amount to taking a step backward and 10 steps backward in the prevailing circumstances. Now, the spread of fake and unverified news on social media during the 2023 election is a source of worry to some veteran journalists in Jos, the Plateau State capital. The journalists, while assessing how the conventional media covered the election, said the motives of those posting fake news is against public interest. Ado Musa completes the story.
Spreading distorted information to achieve certain aim is not new in Nigeria. What is, however, worrisome to practicing journalists in Jos is that spread of fabricated news is becoming a daily routine, sometimes to damage a reputation or image. The social media was used during the last elections by certain candidates or political parties or their sympathizers to score political points. Asked whether the conventional media is as guilty as the new media, these media practitioners said the coverage by the mainstream media was entirely different.
Those new media owners were not actually covering the elections. They were simply using their phones to capture whatever they wanted. They were not using their phones with the interest of the public at heart. They were using it to satisfy themselves. But if you come to the traditional media, those who work in the traditional media had a duty, a constitutional duty, to go out and cover the elections and make sure that the products that they turn out meet the interest, meet the expectations of the public.
So when you are talking about the mainstream journalists, there are ethics, and there are ethics that they need to abide with. There are conditions that guide, or rather rules and regulations that guide the operation, and they must be strict to it. But when you are talking about social media, it's all common affair. Everybody is a journalist in Nigeria now. Somebody can just pick up phone and begin to snap and begin to fly it about. And those that are serious about information these days and want actually the authentic information, they go after the, what they call it, the standard media organizations.
It is on record that the national media, the traditional media, actually did a lot of work compared to the social media, who are just bent on speculation. Speculative journalism is their work.
The social media does not have time to wait for that. They hit the airwave as soon as they get their information. Verify or not, they just throw it up, probably to get public reaction. So to some serious level, the social media actually took over the show.
What then is the implication of mainstream media failing to resist use of unverified information source from the new media just to be the first to break the news?
The way out is that we should stop encouraging or continue to look at what goes on in the new media as journalism. That journalism continues and remains within the mainstream media, because journalism itself is founded on certain doctrinal foundations.
It left for Nigerian audience to now be properly educated between the difference between the social media and the traditional media, and which one to believe and which one to use.
Practitioners said, though one cannot completely take off unverified messages from the social media, people must always be careful and verify whatever is posted on such media before acting on them. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Now to health matters, where about 2,000 persons have been affected with tuberculosis across the 13 local government areas of Nasarawa State. The State Commissioner for Health and Pharmacy, Ahmed Baba Yahya, at a press conference to commemorate the 2023 World Tuberculosis Day in Lafia on Friday, said 5,408 TB cases were detected last year and 21% of the patients are infected with HIV.
While speaking on this year's theme, yes, we can end TB. Get involved. The Health Commissioner said at least 300 children of age group 0 to 14 years were detected with tuberculosis last year, noting that the state had a prevalence rate of 33 in 100,000 people. From the state and national statistics, the age group that is most infected with tuberculosis is from age 15 to 55 years.
Patients comply with treatment which shows good case holding and results in better treatment outcomes. As of the end of December 2022, the state has 366 TB dot treatment and 64 microscopy centers. Efforts are on to expand the TB services to more remote areas for easy accessibility. About 300 children of ages 0 to 14 were detected with TB last year, around 2022, and this constitutes about 5.5% of total TB cases detected. The national target for detection of the TB in children who are vulnerable is 12%. TB diseases has seriously negative impact on the economy generally. From the state and national statistics, the age group that is most affected with TB is from 15 to 55 years.
According to the Health Commissioner, the state reported 55 drug-resistant tuberculosis cases last year, pointing out that these patients are already on treatment in both the community and the treatment center in Evangelical Reformed Church of Christ Hospital, Alushi area of Akwanga local government area of the state.
Now for a look at the foreign scene, where the Democratic Republic of Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi has appointed the country's former Vice President Jean-Pierre Bemba, who was imprisoned for more than 10 years for war crimes, as Defense Minister in a sweeping government reshuffle. His appointment was part of an overhaul of the 57-member cabinet, which the president's spokesperson said was urgent and necessary in an announcement on national television late on Thursday. No further details were given. The reshuffle, which was more extensive than observers had predicted, comes just months before a presidential election on December 20th, in which Tshisekedi is expected to seek a second term. Presidential candidates are expected to be announced next October, with the final list due in November. One likely challenger for the presidency is Martin Fayulu, who claimed victory in the 2018 poll. Another is Moise Katumbi, former governor of the oil-rich Katanga province. That wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.